Thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille Show. A pleasure to connect with you guys on a glorious and gorgeous downtown Thursday afternoon on the I Love CVille Network. A lot to cover on the program. Kevin Cox's day in court. What is the future for the Crosswalk artist, the Crosswalk Vandal, the Crosswalk advocate? We'll talk about that on the program today. Thanks to Intel, courtside, from Deep Throat, #1 in the family. Conan Owen is providing valuable content for today's show. From the desk of Conan Owen, the owner of Sir Speedy, Central Virginia, some news and notes as it pertains to Tobey's Pawn Shop on Pantops and Start 2 Nutrition and Barracks Road Shopping Center. We'll relay that information to you. All we want to be, guys, is the water cooler of conversation. If the information or the news originates outside this studio, that's totally fine by us. We will vet who provides us that information, make sure they're legitimate. Once we've vetted them, we trust them, they're a member of the family, we then pass that content on to you. It happens every day as we crowdsource information on the I Love CVille Show. We're going to talk musical chairs with the C-suite of UVA Health. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. More people, more bodies, more executives getting out of Charlottesville. I mean, it's literally like, to use a sports analogy, the head coach or the athletic director resigning or taking another job before they can get fired. Once Jim Ryan resigned, it's like you turn the lights on in a flea bag hotel, and when you turn the lights on, you see all the roaches sprinting for the hiding places once the lights get turned on. Is that what is happening here at the University of Virginia with the C-suite? We'll talk about it today as Wendy Horton has now officially resigned. Judah, that's the CEO of UVA Health, Craig Kent. That's the dean of the medical school, Melinda Kibbe. And that's now the CEO of UVA Hospital, Wendy Horton.
Yeah.
In less than 6 months. Who is next? We'll talk about that today. I'm going to ask you, the viewers and listeners, what is your crystal ball prediction on who will be named the interim president at the University of Virginia? Look, it's no secret. The Board of Visitors have to stabilize this ship, and they have to do so immediately. From my standpoint, maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe I'm reading this right. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think the Board of Visitors is going to make 2 hires here. The first hire is going to be an interim president, and the interim is going to be in this position to maybe the end of the year, less than a year, maybe a year tops. Then the BOV is going to make a permanent hire. That's going to take longer to do. Before they can make a permanent hire, they have to stabilize the organization. That's a euphemism from City Hall in Charlottesville. Who's going to be the interim president? I have a prediction. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. I'm going to relay it to you, but it's a professor at the University of Virginia that's one of the most esteemed and has, I think, the longest tenure at the University of Virginia, and he teaches in the economics department. That conversation on today's program. A lot we're going to cover on the show. We'll thank Charlottesville Sanitary Supply for being a part of the program. 61 years of business, John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They're located on High Street, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. This business is keeping our household swimming pool crystal clear, chlorine levels picture perfect. Sanitary supply needs, water needs, swimming pool needs, anything. John Vermillion, Andrew Vermillion at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Honest people, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk on today's program a lot of deal flow, a lot of commercial real estate and small business news. I want a studio camera and then 2-shot Judah Wickower, who is obviously a key member of the show, and ask you what headline most intrigues you. Is it Wendy Horton? Is it the next interim president? I mean, good God, we continue to be like feeding at like a fire, like a fire hose faucet, like trying to drink from a fire hose here when it comes to the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
They just cannot get out of their own way.
Yeah, it just doesn't stop.
Is this like the Fleabag Hotel when the lights are off, you go into a room for some after-hours shenanigans, you flick the switch on, and when the lights go on, you see all the cockroaches on the floor or on the walls sprinting for hiding places or sprinting out of eyesight? Is that what's happening here?
I guess that's one way to look at the the C-suite executives of UVA.
I mean, it's
Cockroaches?
alleged white-collar racketeering, some nasty stuff alleged against their professionalism. Wendy Horton, do you want to set the news on this one?
Yeah, she's the CEO of University Medical Center, and this is, I mean,
She's not the CEO of UVA Medical Center. She's the CEO of UVA Hospital.
well then Cavalier Daily has it wrong.
Go ahead. Keep going.
This comes just a day or two after we learned of Melina Kibbe, the dean of the School of Medicine and chief health affairs officer at UVA Health, is taking a job in Houston, and now we've got another health executive going to a leadership role in California.
San Francisco?
Yeah.
And I stand corrected. You're right. CEO of UVA Health University Medical Center. CEO UVA Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the key players over at UVA Health. What do you do here?
Can you find people that can fill the spots fast, I would imagine.
Here's the question I have for the viewers and listeners. Do you make the interim president hire at UVA first before you start filling these empty spots at UVA and its health system? Is that the play here? Is the Board of Visitors, and guys, think about the pressure that this Board of Visitors is under right now. Like, maybe some of the most significant pressure of any Board of Visitors in UVA history. They're replacing a president. They're replacing 3 of the top positions within the hospital system, which is the revenue generator for the university. They're constantly in the national and global news. Is the BOV's responsibility right now to hire an interim president first and then look at the rest of the org chart and fill the other vacant positions? And then that's a perfect segue in, as you're rotating lower thirds on screen. Who's the interim president if one is going to be named? How quickly is one named? I'll throw a name out there. I floated it on Monday's show. I mentioned it again yesterday. Ken Elzinga, the esteemed economics professor. Will we see Ken Elzinga, who is no spring chicken, guys, more than 50 years at the University of Virginia, Ken Elzinga. Is he the name that the Board of Visitors will consider as an interim president? I took a class from Ken Elzinga my first semester of my first year. That's how long this guy's been around. Is he your guy for the interim president spot? I would think it's got to be somebody that's currently on staff. I'll throw another name out there. This name came up in conversation this morning. Dr. Bobby Chabra, friend of the program.
Yeah.
Does a Dr. Bobby Chabra get considered for any of these empty positions within UVA Health? Is a Chabra a replacement for a Craig Kent? Is a Chabra a replacement for a Wendy Horton? That's a known commodity, known name, a name of integrity in this community, Bobby Chabra.
Would he want the job? Is another question.
Another great question. Would he want the job? Not like he needs the money. Would he want the job? Elzinga would want the job. The guy is quintessential UVA, epitomizes everything University of Virginia, Elzinga. So does Chabra. I believe Chabra's a triple who.
Well,
Elzinga would take it. Would Chabra take it? Interesting conversation, guys, for your cocktail parties this weekend. Now we know another domino has fallen. Wendy Horton going from Charlottesville to San Francisco. Melina Kibbe going to Houston, Texas. Craig Kent going to the golf course with a Mai Tai in his hands. What other changes will follow?
yeah.
We'll certainly follow it closely here on the program. All right, next headline. What do you got, Judah Wickower?
Let's see. News and notes from Sir Speedy's Conan Owen.
I mentioned this when he was on the program on Tuesday. I hope he's watching right now. Conan Owen, his photo on screen. As connected in the business development community as anyone that I know. When you're signing a lease to launch a business, or frankly, when you're telling your landlord that you're closing your business, he gets a phone call. Because if you can put a logo on it, Sir Speedy can do it. Signage, graphics, you name it. Let's give Sir Speedy some love on screen if you can. He sent me some news and notes before the program started. I found them interesting. I will relay them to you. Here's the first tidbit from the notebook, from the desk of Conan Owen. Tobey's pawn shop on Pantops is for lease. This, I believe, was the former Hardee's restaurant?
Yeah.
I think it was the former Hardee's restaurant.
Yeah, it was.
Tobey's on Pantops, according to Conan Owen, for lease. PhotoWorks Group on Rio Road, Conan has said, has sold their business to an outfit from Bridgewater. And PhotoWorks Group on Rio Road, after selling their business to an organization, to a team in Bridgewater, Virginia, as he says, Conan, sold the building, and what he's hearing is to Tobey, who's going to consolidate operations in a larger space on Rio.
Interesting.
He's already got a location out there on Rio Road. So he would consolidate into a bigger spot. I will say this, the pawn business, in particular Tobey's, I hope Tobey hears this. Conan, if you know Tobey, make a connection with us. Any of the viewers and listeners that know Tobey from Tobey's Pawn Shop, can you make a connection with Tobey and me, please? Text message, Facebook message, some kind of DM or email connection. Tobey's seems to do pawn the right way. It's a category of business that lives in various levels of sketchiness. But Tobey and his outfit, his organization, seems to be doing the business honest, above board, super communicative. The type of partners we like to work with here at the Miller organization. So I want to applaud Tobey. I think he's extremely successful with what he does. You go into the pawn shop, and goodness gracious, there's guns galore in there. I think the Pantops location is also one of the U-Haul, one of the places you can rent a U-Haul truck on Pantops.
Yeah.
We are hearing from Conan Owen that he is going to vacate his Pantop space, and we are hearing from Conan Owen that Tobey has purchased the old PhotoWorks Group building on Rio Road and is going to consolidate his operations into a major headquarters there.
It's good to see businesses doing well and expanding.
Is that your chair doing that? Yeah, that's your chair there. So I'll throw this here. I completely agree with you. With what we see on Reddit, which can be a cesspool of social media.
As can any
all social platforms. But they're so quick to hate on business success.
Some of them.
I want to use this platform to celebrate the success of business. And Tobey buying a building, consolidating operations, and building a larger pawn empire, props to him. Mm-hmm. We should get Tobey on the show.
Yeah.
We should get Tobey on the show. You're rotating lower thirds on screen. The next lower third I want to talk about is the last news and note from Conan's notebook is Barracks North, start to finish nutrition, and the north wing of Barracks Road Shopping Center. The sign is coming down on Monday. Federal Realty has asked Sir Speedy to take down the sign on Monday, and Start to Finish Nutrition and Barracks North is closing their doors. Closing their doors in the north wing of Barracks Road Shopping Center. So 2 items out of the notebook that I think will hit the legacy media cycles and turn into content. Pawn, Tobey's, consolidating on Rio Road with what we're being told is a purchase of the old PhotoWorks Group building and a big epicenter for Tobey's Pawn Shop after closing Pantops location and consolidating operations on Rio. And the second tidbit, Start to Finish Nutrition in the north wing of Barracks Road Shopping Center is closing, and the sign is coming down on Monday. Judah Whitcower, the next headline, what do you got? Oh, Georgia Gilmer's got a headline. Her photo, a tidbit, her photo on screen. Georgia Gilmer says, for what it's worth, Specialty Fastener of Charlottesville looks like it may have closed. It was a unique supplier of things that you can't find in a regular hardware store. Georgia Gilmer, thank you for that tidbit. We want the content. We don't care if the content comes from us. If we trust you and we vet you and we verify you as a source, we will relay that content live on air. Georgia Gilmer is vetted and verified. We appreciate that. She says, Specialty Fastener of Charlottesville looks like it may have closed.
Too bad.
Next headline is that Kevin Yancey?
You mean Kevin Cox?
Kevin Cox, sorry. Kevin Yancey, one of the members of the family. Kevin Cox, Judah, what do you think the outcome was in court? And I know, I got some insight here from Deep Throat, fresh from the courtroom.
Oh.
What do you think the outcome was?
I still think that he gets charged for repaying for the damages, and I'm guessing that he stays out of jail.
That's what I thought would happen too. This is from the courtroom. I'm choosing what I can read here. Outcome of Kevin Cox situation. Judge basically wants him to go away, wants the case to go away. Adjournment in contemplation of dismissal. Don't get in trouble over the next 90 days, and it gets dismissed, and he potentially pays nothing.
Wow. There you go. Good ending for Kevin Cox, at least if he can keep his nose clean for 90 days.
I would hope he does.
It would be wise.
Can you imagine a judge? You're in a courtroom. You're a judge. And you get this case in front of you. An older man that's been in Charlottesville for 30, 40 years is in front of you over chalk art crosswalk spray paint. A judge is like, have I worked all my life to preside over cases like this?
Is it okay for me to go on vacation now?
How does it make the city look?
I mean,
Heavy-handed?
maybe, but I kind of think they had to.
City had to do it, 100%.
Kevin Cox put them in a position, and they had to they had to react. So, it's not an ideal situation, but I think everybody involved, did the best they could. Kevin Cox is doing the best he can to, for pedestrian safety. The city is doing what they have to in response. The police probably didn't want to go and harass a 70-year-old man, but they did their job, and the judge is probably wishing he could be anywhere but Charlottesville on this hot Thursday afternoon. But he's doing his job, and he made the right choice.
Question for the viewers and listeners, and question for Judah. At this point, and I'm talking right now at this very moment, which activist in the greater Charlottesville area has the most significant profile at this moment right here?
Which activist?
This moment right now.
Should it be Kevin Cox?
Is it Kevin Cox? Zy Bryant has kept a low profile. That low profile in very large part to her campaigning for Charlottesville School Board.
I'm surprised she's not making more noise about it.
Her campaign, I totally agree, is completely under the radar, is it not? For school board?
It would seem to be, but maybe she's picked out the neighborhoods, the spots that she needs to work on the most, and she's out there working them. I don't know, but maybe the realization set in that flashy is not the way to go with this
or loud
campaign. Yeah.
Is the most significant activist in the Charlottesville area right now Kevin Cox?
I think just by dint of him being in the headlines, yeah.
I mean, because at one time we had a smattering of activists. Tanisha Hudson,
Yeah.
Zy Bryant, Wes Bellamy, Nakaya Walker, Kevin Cox. I mean, it really, would you consider the Livable CVille people activists? I probably would. Wouldn't you? Okay, there's your challenge. There's your challenge to Cox, the most significant activist in the community right now, Gillikin. There's your challenge to Cox. Maybe
You're saying Cox needs to outdo Gillikin? I don't think that's really.
I think Cox better in the next 90 days. Keep it on the DL and on the QT.
Yeah.
This from Deep Throat. I think Kevin's first choice would have been that the city responded to him by putting in a real crosswalk. But his second choice was what happened here. City beclowns itself, and a ton of attention turns to Brendan Duncan and the obnoxious, incompetent, pedestrian, unfriendly traffic engineering department. Those are Deep Throat's words, City Hall, who watches this program. Those are Deep Throat's words.
Oh, man.
He also says, and the cost to him is a few $100 for a lawyer, which is covered by the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a cost than that, though.
Yeah, I think
It might be just the cost to him financially, but there was more of a cost to that.
Yeah, I think
His family, his wife, his kids, there was more of a cost to that.
and just the uncertainty of knowing you're going to court.
The opportunity costs of stress of being in court and waiting for your day in court.
And potentially owing thousands of dollars and facing up to a year in prison. I mean, it's nothing to laugh about.
I agree. Did he ever pick up his water bottle?
I think he did.
He picked up his water bottle here that he left after the interview?
I think so. It's
Okay.
not here anymore.
Okay. Well, you'll see it in Legacy Media, guys, his outcome. Philip Dow says, for me, it would have to be Wes Bellamy. Philip Dow, I'll say this. Since Wes Bellamy has gotten off city council,
Yeah.
and since Wes Bellamy has taken over the Tonsillar Basketball League as the owner of the Tonsillar Basketball League, he bought that from Damian Banks, a friend of the program. Wes Bellamy has been very much behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We have not heard much from Wes Bellamy. Wes Bellamy, I believe, is on the board of CRHA, the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority, but we have heard very little noise or activism or influence, frankly, from Wes Bellamy since he now is a business owner. He's still a college professor, but now that he's a Tonsillar League business owner, we've heard very little from him.
I hear about him occasionally on NPR.
You do?
Yeah, sometimes they ask his opinion. But yeah, other than that, crickets.
I mean, there was a time when Bellamy Bellamy was the guy, Dr. Bellamy was the guy who led the charge against our client at the time, Douglas Muir of Bella's Restaurant. When Douglas Muir, then a UVA professor, adjunct professor, owner of Bella's Restaurant, a guy who had multiple businesses that he owned locally, a finance firm, a credit repair company, owned Bella's Restaurant, where Smyrna is now.
Yeah.
Douglas Muir made the unfortunate comment on Facebook in the comment section degrading or marginalizing the Black Lives Matter movement, comments he to this day regrets doing, and Wes Bellamy led the charge to try to cancel Bella's Restaurant.
Yeah.
Now behind the scenes, and you don't hear much of them, at least I don't. Let us know your thoughts. Jason Noble, his photo on screen. He says, in regards to what Conan sent us about Start to Nutrition and Barracks Road Shopping Center closing in the North Wing, brick and mortar supplement shops are going to go extinct, Noble says. Absolutely. Selling supplements and vitamins on shelves like GNC and Start to Nutrition, especially in high rent districts, that's not a winning proposition.
Not around here.
Not anywhere. There was a one time where GNC was the darling of supplements.
Yeah.
The absolute darling of supplements. Georgia Gilmer responds to Jason, it's unfortunate since so many are area residents who own and ran these businesses. And Jason says, agreed. And again, it comes back to much cheaper competition online. Absolutely. Selling a widget on a shelf, a commodity on the shelf, in 2025 is challenging. You're going to have to provide, like you see with Charlottesville Sanitary Supply or the Happy Cook or Animal Connection, Monique Mosher, the Vermillions, or Patty Bowden, you're going to have to provide more than just a widget on the shelf. The value proposition is going to be the education you offer your customers. With Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, the testing of water that they provide on site is a massive value proposition. No. For Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, the repair of equipment like vacuums on site is a huge value proposition.
Oh, yeah.
You're not getting that online. Yeah. With Patty Bowden and Animal Connection, the grooming and the dog washing and the dog training. And with Happy Cook, the cooking classes. And try these kitchen equipment. Try the kitchen equipment at our classes before you buy them. Lonnie Murray says this, his photo on screen. I think it gets down to what does activist mean and how is it measured? And that's in regards to who's the most significant activist locally. Lonnie Murray says, is it a measure of effectiveness or visibility? There are lots of effective activists who just quietly advocate for their issues without constantly making a big scene. Most of the PEC staff might fit that model. Peter Krebs is on the PEC staff, Piedmont Environmental Council. Peter Krebs is 100% an activist. And then Lonnie Murray says, I think you should have Neil Williamson on that short list of activists. And it gets back to the word. Yeah. Activist, negative connotation in a lot of circles.
Oftentimes, yeah.
Advocate, positive connotations. Peter Krebs, Neil Williamson, advocates. Mm-hmm. You would probably say Kevin Cox, Zy Bryant,
activists.
Nakia Walker, activists.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say activism is, in a way, closely related to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. It's about making a splash, whereas
activism is more vanity, where advocacy is more strategy. Activism is about seeing your name in headlines. Activism is about ego. Advocacy is about staying true to the mission you're pushing. An advocate is much closer to a lobbyist. The lobbyist has the connotation of being paid, though. An advocate is purely driven by the mission they're pushing. Neil Williamson embodies that in a lot of ways. Now, he has to fundraise for his advocacy.
Yeah.
Peter Krebs is paid by Piedmont Environmental Council. Okay? Gillikin, not paid with Livable CVille. Kevin Cox, maybe he's taking money out of pocket here. He certainly ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
Right? Nakia Walker, her activism on council when she was the mayor and started doing all that activism with the sexual rape, derogatory poetry about Charlottesville. In a lot of ways, Nakia Walker has negatively impacted her professional upside in Charlottesville through her activism there. There was and perhaps time has healed, but there was a period of time where employers locally were not conversating with her because of her activism on council. Let us know your thoughts, viewers and listeners. Put it in the feed here. We'll relay it live on air. Jason says, activism is narcissism. Activists want attention. Georgia says, Kristen Zakos. She's an activist of the worst kind, Georgia Gilmer says. And egged on Dr. Bellamy on council. Deep Throat. Activists, the brand is the person. The work is stunts. Advocates, the brand is an institution. And the work is long-term policy and influence. And he says, Wes Bellamy is kept quiet by the city giving him goodies, support for the basketball league and the CRHA position. The Tonslor Basketball League, Sean Tubbs references this in his reporting when the Tonslor League comes before council. The Tonslor League, and I am all for what the Tonslor League is doing. Do not let this get taken out of context here. What the Tonslor League is doing is pretty amazing. And there is no doubt that Dr. Bellamy has taken the Tonslor League to a different level. Damian Banks, the founder of the Tonsillar League, friend of the program. Dr. Bellamy takes it over, I believe, in an acquisition from Damian Banks. And Dr. Bellamy has taken the Tonsillar League to another level. He's utilizing social media. You're seeing jerseys. You're seeing branding. You're seeing standings that can be tracked and followed online. You're seeing a level of elevation and professionalism to this. He's turned it into a legitimate league, like a basketball league with prestige, not just in Central Virginia, but across the Commonwealth. Has Commonwealth-wide prestige, the Tonsillar League, notoriety for it. Sean Tubbs and his reporting on his Substack highlights how much money Dr. Bellamy is getting from the city for this league. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer dollars are going to this league. Hundreds, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to this league. And to Deep Throat's point, that support from taxpayers in the city has created a hush-hush, mindset in some ways because, frankly, he's a business owner. He's got to play the game now. All right, next headline. What do you got, Judah Wickower?
I think we're through with them.
I'm happy that Kevin Cox has had his last day in court.
Yeah.
I don't think Kevin, if he could do it again, would do this.
You don't think he'd do it again?
No. You disagree with me on that?
We'll be back to you in 91 days.
Yeah, gosh.
I don't know. I think the fear, I think the blush of making waves will wear off, and it might begin to gall that there has still been no change on Elliott Avenue, and so who knows? In 91 days, he may be back out there making a name for himself.
Let's hope not. He's always welcome on the program.
I will push. He's been an activist for pedestrians for
30 years,
longer than just the beginning of this.
30 years
story.
I had a conversation with my mentor, Bill Nitchman, about this. He's known Kevin Yancey since the early 90s.
Kevin Cox,
since the early 90s. Thank you. Literally had the conversation with him about this yesterday. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, the shorter version, we have a important meeting at 1:30. Hence the shorter version of the show. Tomorrow, Real Talk with Keith Smith at 10:15 a.m. And we'll close the week with the I Love CVille Show at 12:30 tomorrow. We want to be the water cooler of conversation. Content sourced today by number one in the family, Deep Throat, and a guy who's going to very much be in the top 10 of the family soon, Conan Owen, with some business news and notes. Georgia Gilmer sourcing some content for us today. If you think there's noteworthy news and it's vetted and verified, and we'll double-check, trust but verify Ronald Reagan, we want to talk about it on the show. Pass it along to us. Thank you kindly for joining us. So long, everybody.